G'day guys, my name is Ben and welcome to the channel, and today we are installing Cobb's Redline carbon fibre cold air intake into my WRX STI, as well as doing the Cobb Accessport as well. Now in this video I will be showing you how I assembled this in the beginning, a bit of an unboxing and assembly, followed by the removal and install, and I'm going to do a proper sound test for the intake. So I'll run a microphone here and we have a listen to how this sounds once installed. So wish me luck and let's jump right into it. Alright, so this is our intake. I'm going to set this up before I go to put it into the car. So first step is we're going to put this sticker gasket on, this sticker sheet that has all the little bits and pieces on it in one hit. We're going to install the outer ring first, which goes on to here. Next up are these two pieces, which we're going to put on the air intake inlet. Alright, that gasket's on. So next you have an option. You can choose to install this mounting plate over the air vent here. Cobb says this will reduce the noise of the intake a little bit, and it probably will help seal the air in and probably potentially keep temperatures cooler, at least while you're stationary. But I think a lot of people are probably going to buy it for the noise. So I think I'm going to start with leaving this off. And in hindsight, I probably shouldn't have put the gasket on. Next, we're given a heap of grommets and tools. We need to put a grommet in this little adapter plate here. All right, there we go. We've got the grommet in. Next, we have another gasket to install on this side of the bracket. Next, we have this big bracket. We're going to put another grommet in here. There we go, that is in. All right, we have one last grommet. Okay, so this will go on the back of this particular bracket, just like so. Now we've got two more grommets. All right, that's one. All right, grommets are installed. Here is our intake. All right, so this ring only has 3 bolts, so you're just going to line them up. And we are installed. Next up, we're putting the pod on, which is literally just by doing up this ring. We are on. Right, next we're going to insert the pod into... I just noticed that the camera had stopped recording while I was doing that, but effectively we are done with pre-assembly. So there are still a bunch of odd nuts and bolts left. We've got a couple that we need to consider for the math and things like that. But otherwise, we've put the grommets on our intake. We've got our pod filter installed. Silicon intake tube is fitted as well. Time to install it to the car. All right, first we're going to remove the snorkel. Next, we remove the map sensor. Now that we've removed the map sensor, we want to just unclip these tubes from their little hooks. Next, we need to undo the ring clamps on our cold air intake. Next, we want to remove this bolt hidden all the way down here, followed by this bracket here. Alright, now that we've got that bolt removed, we'll remove this bracket. Now we can remove the airbox. There we go. Now if you are interested, here is my intake silencer removal kit, still going strong. Alright, so now we need to remove a bolt on our radiator mounting, just so we get a little bit of flex to get our fingers underneath. Alright, now this is probably the most terrifying part of the install. Essentially, we have to put one of these bolts underneath this plate here to stick up, and while we're holding that up, we're going to screw this on top. This is going to be difficult. If we lose the bolt, we're in big trouble. Okay. Alright, so that's quite easy. Alright, so I've put some tape straight off the roll onto this. This is just kind of excess for me to grab if I need to, or if I drop it. Fingers crossed I don't. Alright, that's one. Whew. Alright, I thought I might have needed an Allen key there, but I didn't. It tightened up fine with this. Alright, now we'll fit the radiator back. Next, we have to remove this bracket here. This particular bolt on this bracket. We will be installing the Cobb bracket onto this bolt and also onto this bracket. Alright, next we'll be putting this Cobb bracket in, basically in the same spot. Alright, so we've got our first Cobb bracket lined up. We are putting the factory bolt back in over the top, and then we'll be putting a fresh bolt in there. Okay, we're in. It's time for us to install the intake now. I don't really trust myself in terms of how I'm going to get these in, and these two bolts sticking out here scare me that I'm going to scratch the intake up to death. So I'm just going to use some tape and just wrap these, which I'll remove once the install is done. Alright, won't do much, but I thought that would help. I've also wrapped this in a bit of plastic wrap just to kind of help protect it as I put it in. So here we go. Wish me luck. Got it. So fitting this was quite easy, actually. Effectively all you're doing is popping this on all the grommets. So it literally just clips in. Here, down there, that one down there is a little difficult because you kind of have to feel for it, but not too hard. And finally, there's one bracket left here, and I'm really happy that I put tape here because look how close to the intake that is. So really glad I did that and had a rag there just to protect it. My first attempt didn't go so well, and that was mostly because I had the silicon pipe on too far down here and had to push it up so it would fit. Now we're going to tighten the OEM bolt back down here. Now it's time to install the MAC sensor again. Alright, we've finished the install now. So I've just finished tightening down the silicon hose. The MAC sensor's on. This is on all its brackets. There's no rattles. It all looks good. Time to do the Accessport. Now it's time for the moment of truth. Doing the flash tune. Wish me luck. So I've got the Cobb connected. The car is ready to turn on. I've turned off pretty much everything that you can. I've turned off the air conditioning, I've turned off the head unit. Well, I did before I turned the car off, so hopefully it doesn't turn back on. Head unit turned back on. We'll just turn that off. There we go. All right, I just triple checked on the computer. Stage 1 SF 93 or 98 will be what I need. Octane. All right, I had to put the phone down while I pressed some buttons, but I just had to turn the car off and on, and now it says installation successful. Please turn the ignition off. So let's give that a go. So it's actually been 6 months since I installed the carbon fibre intake now, and it's just taken me a long time to find the chance to get out and give this a bit of a test run, but I'm happy to say over the last 6 months there's been pretty much not one issue that has gone wrong with the car. Now, I've taken a heap of different videos using different microphones, and I'm really keen to try and show you what this sounds like inside the car. So what I've actually done is I've taken a few different clips. A bunch of them I've had microphones mounted just sort of here, with the shotgun microphone that you're listening to right now. I've also had a microphone wired directly into the engine bay, so you can hear what the intake sounds like pretty much straight off the engine. And I've also got a microphone wired right in the corner of the dash to try and give it the best chance of hearing the intake. Finally, I've also gone out and taken a traditional video from outside of the car to give you a really good idea of the sound from the outside. Probably know that it's not the quietest space inside a WRX, so while I'm trying my best to get some audio, there is a lot of road noise, tyre noise, wet weather, and everything kind of impacting the sound that you can hear. But I have to say, actually sitting here in the driver's seat, there is a really strong air intake noise. So yeah, over the 6 months of owning it, I've had absolutely nothing go wrong, as I said, and I'm really happy with how it performs, and the extra noise that I get in the interior really does make me feel a bit happier to drive the car. I feel like it's like a sound that was missing in the WRX and STI. Now, if you are liking this video, please think about liking and subscribing as well. It is greatly appreciated, and make sure you jump into the written description of this video for a link to the product and maybe a bit of information that I forgot to share here as well. My channel before, you might have seen another video that I've put up previously where I actually removed the air intake silencer from the factory Airbox and did an audio recording to compare the differences. So what I'll do now is I'll bring up that comparison that I did between stock and the air intake silencer being removed, and now I'll just throw in this air intake as well, just so you can listen to the difference between all three stages of the air intake journey. I will say also is when I've been out cruising with friends and things like that, they've also said to me that they can hear the intake from inside their car too. So there is a lot of noise that comes from the intake, which is great. Now, in terms of the performance that I'm getting from the car, this is just the Stage 1 Plus tune that I'm running right now, and I I could say maybe I felt a little bit of a difference after doing the flash tune, but in my opinion, there isn't really a significant difference besides the noise that I'm getting. Maybe a little bit of extra punchiness and things like that, but there is no real night and day difference in performance, in my opinion, between stock and the Stage 1 Plus. Now, I do have a bunch of Stage 2, Stage 3 parts that are just sitting in my garage waiting to go on. They've been in there for quite a while, and maybe one day I'll find time to actually fit those and get a proper performance boost. Now, in terms of the effort of the install, I think this is probably just an afternoon job. I really didn't find it too difficult. Probably the hardest part was remembering to have the camera rolling while I was doing it. So I wouldn't really feel too stressed, and you know, the Cobb-flash tune went totally as expected as well. Otherwise, here's a bunch of other clips that I've taken. So there you go, I hope you found that helpful, but I'll have to say, actually being in the car and driving, there is a really, really strong noise that you can hear. Even over the radio, depending on the volume of course, I can still hear the intake going off, and I'm really, really happy with the sound that I have. But yeah, that about sums up my thoughts for the Cobb carbon fibre intake. I hope you found this helpful, and have a great one, and we'll see you in the next video. Cheers.